And in this part, we can actually continue on with the sewers, but also, you know, complete a few side quests as we're walking around here. One of them being the Olmi DLC. I probably said that wrong, but yep, we can find one of the carvings here, as well as another page from the Tome of the Museum, which I think before I actually heard it spoken in game, I used to thought it was pronounced the Nuvishium or something. Anyway, the point is, it's a bad sounding word. Anyway, if you look up this section here, you'll probably find nothing, so I actually forgot why I came up here. Yeah, when it comes to travelling down these sewers, I guess I wish they were a bit more complex, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Now, it's just because if you have to travel down this dungeon, the same dungeon 4 times, it would be really cool if there were 4 different ways you could travel down it. As far as I can tell, there's only like 2. Well, there are alternate paths, but you know what I mean. Like, when we first came here, we got in through the town and then made our way to the palace. And from every point after that, we'd go through the docks and make our way to the town. And it's the same path each time. So it is a bit repetitive, me going about the same single point, but then again, so did they. Yeah, and something that's kind of weird. You see these waterfalls of human waste, and yeah, isn't this city meant to be nearly deserted? I think it would have really helped to show that if you know if these pools weren't here, essentially. And actually, speaking of which, to bring up another, what would have been cool as well if they had shown some civilians hiding out in the sewers. That would have been cool to effectively show it. But speaking of which, I am very grateful Jakar can learn some healing moves, because you can see I'm taking no chances here. I'm casting Bless and Protect and Regenerate. Because yep, we've got another gang of gargoyles here, and ooh, yeah, there's like 3 of them. That's not really a fight I want to take on here. Now, I guess something which could help you get through this section is that, well, do you know the trip ability Felice knows? Well, apparently, Rosalind knows it too. So if that's a skill you bothered to level up for Rosalind, that could also help you out here. Well, maybe not in this situation because, you know, obviously gargoyles are non-humanoid enemies, but and also I think Jakar can learn trip. Maybe not the actual move, but maybe sort of trip any sort of combo moves. Speaking of which, that's something I've fairly neglected. I've been using spells and strategies to get by in this game, and that's worked fine, but you know, when it comes to like their melee attacks, you can do different attacks depending on what direction you press on the D-pad, and that's not something I've thought about too much. Oh, and here we see Meteor Storm, a move which yeah, sends a bunch of meteors. Now the downside is the targets are random, so you can hit your allies, but at this point your party members should be so leveled up that they're pretty resistant to magic. So yeah, at this point you can probably get some good use out of it, particularly against these enemies because they're weak against magic. And they seem to be very agile too, they keep dodging Jakar's attacks. Ooh, the Black Hands, some armor for Fleece here. Huh. Gives a +1 to a backstab. As I recall, it's already at 11 because of the very the very deadly spine splitter dagger. Oh, I remember this section. This is where I found the green shard for the shard of the Giamardi side quest. And I think at this point I'm looking for a carving which will contribute to the Armadillosi side quest. See, I had to pause and double check the word before saying it. But like I said, you can find one of these carvings here. And I don't remember exactly where it's hidden, I just remember it's tucked away somewhere. So I'm very, I'm keeping my eyes open, I'm searching all the corners here. Although on the bright side, the very last time we'll come through the sewers, I know exactly which direction to go. And I don't think there's, at that point, there's not anything else I have to find down here. So, at least that's, at least the last time will be fairly easy. But anyway, up into the corner to the left here. Come on past me, you can see it. Ooh, the dragons want. +2 on staff weapons. Yeah, and just a reminder, Rosalind can use the staff, but yeah, her melee skills aren't really that good. That, and even leveled up, she is fairly a fragile character. Yeah, just going for items here. See if I can. I suppose that's better. And at this point I get a few more points, not really sure where to put them. I just realised her staff weapon is levelled up somewhat. But now I instead just choose to level up her fire abilities. I suppose I could have leveled up her magic defense instead. Maybe that would have been more useful, but oh well. By the way, this map feature is very handy. Particularly because all the rooms in this area look very similar to each other. So I found it quite easy to sort of miss which hallway to turn into. And I'm not sure if it's intentional, but there doesn't seem to be any music here. It's just silence, so I don't know what happened there. Oh wait, no, I hear it now, it's just very quiet. Very quiet music. But finally, once I get down to this section here, I'm finally on the main road, as it were. Or not. And it's so dark as well, you can sort of imagine me squinting at the screen, trying to desperately see where I'm going. And I do save regularly, because, you know, it just takes a bit of bad luck, and these two guys are outnumbered. Yep, and the carving, it's up here somewhere. And of course this carving does represent a city, and it's part of the Armadillosi side quest. And again, I said before that it's implied that the sewers in this game used to be an underground city. Maybe a city of the Kosani, so the fact that their carvings show a map, a location here, it's very fitting. And this will probably never happen, but if they did a prequel to this game, or a game set before this point, maybe about an earlier summoner, they could like show like the proper city of the Kosani here. Now, speaking of these golems we see, which are presumably made by someone to be someone's servant, I guess I'm thinking these golems are made by the Kosani. But whatever. Speaking of which, I do like the Kosani. Again, they're a kind of mix between dwarves and elves, which is a prospect I'm sure Gimli and Legolas will be dead set against. But you know what I mean. Like, they're short, they live underground, they're miners, but they also keep the history of the land as well, and they have pointy ears. So there you go. Now, I believe we're still going for the Tome of the Nivaseum before we leave the sewers. And it's in the same waterfall place we got the Signet Ring, way back in one of the earlier parts. Like, I knew doing an RPG would be a very long experience, but yep. Like saying that, I'll probably get it done in less parts than I thought I would have. Like, I actually thought, you know, between this and Pokemon White, one of these two playthroughs would like be over 100 parts, but yep, hasn't reached that limit yet. I'll probably get this done in under 60 parts, I'm guessing, if not sooner than that. Yeah, and if you go down the corner section here, through this hole in the wall, we should find that waterfall section. Again, where we found like the family ring from Pomporo. And it lies in one of these bridge sections here. Okay, I'm going to blame the fact that I chose the wrong path there on the poor lighting. But anyway, here comes the parchment. And if I haven't pointed them out, that these are town parchments, there are 8 of them, and you bring them all together and you complete a very interesting side quest. Also, keep in mind that Fleece is the only one that can identify them, and her appraisability needs to be at 10 to do that. Which is why I emphasised levelling up that skill of hers earlier on. But with one piece of the tome down, we have 8 more to go. And it should be a quite interesting side quest once we get all 8 of these tomes together, because you know, the Nivaseum cult is essentially this game's or this universe's equivalent of the occult. Devil worshippers. But anyway, with that, we are done with the sewers. Thank Urof. But the ordeal is not quite over, because in the next part we'll have to make our way to the city. Please, join me then. Wait just a second, I need to kill this Gorgon first. God, these guys are weak. Okay, but now it's over. Please join me again the next part.